With Barry Robson suspended for this one, James Grady was asked to fill a midfield berth for United, and they had new signing Nick Colgan in goals. Dundee striker Steve Lovell returned from suspension, and with three up front there was no room for John Sutton, who had to settle for a place on the bench. John Underhill took charge of the third Dundee derby of the season, and if this has been the stuff of nightmares for Dundee United recently, they were determined to banish the Blues. Grady showing the way with an early chance against his former club. Backed by a healthy and noisy support, the home side dominated the early exchanges, and given a rare slice of luck inside the area, Stuart Duff was on hand to give United the lead after just 12 minutes. It's a kind of fortune that hasn't visited United too often this season, and might have been a sign that their luck was about to change. If so, it couldn't have come at a better time, and if Stevie Crawford had shot closer to the near post or to the in-rushing Jim McIntyre, it might have been 2-0. Crawford looking for his third goal in as many games. Mark Kerr doesn't score too often, and when faced with a wall of blue jerseys, he didn't have the time or the room to do much more with this effort. Meanwhile, a quiet afternoon for Nick Colgan was to get busier. Mark Fotheringham warming the gloves of the former Hibs keeper. Caballero unable to inflict damage with the rebound. Out of their shell at last, Dundee forced the pace. This time Steve Lovell forced the save from Colgan. And the United fans relieved, no doubt, to see a safe pair of hands in goals. Any game can hinge on the slightest of margins. In a derby, every incident intensifies the emotions. McIntyre a mere nudge away from beating Suter, the frustration tangible from the stands. And it was even more so at the other end as Caballero came so close to scoring. Close enough, in fact, to have the Dundee fans convinced he had. The officials remained calm and unimpressed amid the bedlam. Impossible to see from here, you have to accept the official on the line was in the best position. But the visiting fans didn't have long to wait before they were jumping up and down again, and this time in celebration. Caballero found Tam McManus, who in turn notched his second goal for the club. Caballero's contribution was important. McManus with an eye for goal, all square, a header that set up an all-action ending to this game. Just 8 minutes later, and with 11 minutes to go, United again took the lead. McIntyre's header lifted over the flying Suter by Brent Sancho. Perhaps it was about to come good for United. Maybe after 7 failed attempts, this would be the win Ian McCall wanted so much. Again, the stroke of luck suggesting this could be their day. Now bring on the Rangers. But luck can't compete against slack defending. Steve Lovell allowed to sneak in and steal a point for Dundee. It will matter not to United that this was one of the best Dundee derbies for some time. Same fixture, same sense of disappointment. It will feel like victory for Dundee and Jim Duffy.
We've got to cut out daft errors late in the game. It's happened here against Rangers recently. It's happened on 3 or 4 occasions. Dundee scored a goal against us with 2 minutes to go at Dens, which was a joke goal. So we've got to stop doing that. But we've been saying that for a wee while now, and it's going to have to start happening.
Well, I thought it was a magnificent game. Tremendous advert for a Tayside derby. I'm sure, you know, as managers, myself and Ian will be disappointed with some of the errors leading up to the goals. But as a spectacle, I thought it was tremendous.
Well, Andy Walker, it was a tremendous spectacle, no doubt about that, but this record in the Dundee derby for Dundee United is becoming remarkable, isn't it?
It's extraordinary. Over the last few years they seem to have that Indian sign over the big rivals, and you know, when you look at it over the last few weeks, both clubs picking up points, and it's becoming detached now for Livingston, which I think, although the Dundee clubs won't be happy where they are pulling themselves away from the bottom club. Yeah, a point apiece, Andrew Smith. I suppose that was fair in the end.
Seems to be, but not if you actually believe the comments of Ian afterwards. He seemed to say he dominated this, dominated that, as is his wont, but everybody else I've spoken to and people, the reports I've read, it seems to be that a draw was a fair result. But what really gets in the gullets of United fans is without the 7 points that Dundee have taken, they would be detached at the bottom. They would be out of sight. they could actually kind of condemn their great rivals to a potential relegation battle, but they've kept them afloat.
Andy, talk us through the goals. Duff getting the opener.
Yeah, it's not often he scores. I think that's his first goal for Dundee United, but he's in the perfect position here just to pick up a bit of a rebound, and he hits it home. But I think Dundee were always going to equalise because they've got this great threat up front, Caballero, Lovell, Sam McManus coming in now, and I think that's why they'll probably win a lot more games now between the end of the season. They've definitely got a goal threat up front.
Took them a while to equalise, of course, but McManus, as you say, on the end there.
Well, he's given them a bit of a spark. He's come in just recently. That's his second goal, and nothing will endear him to the home supporters more than a goal like that.
Now, at this point, Andrew, Dundee United go 2-1 up. There's a bit of luck involved in the goal, and the fans have to be thinking the hoodoo's going to be broken here.
Yeah, well, perhaps they don't, because maybe they've got to expect late goals, and it seems to be that Ian's almost expecting that now. And I think to all accounts it was actually deserved, and I know Jim Duffy was complaining that all 4 goals came from crosses, so it doesn't say much for the central defences, but that's what makes great spectacles.
Andy, Dundee United have got a fantastic recent record against Rangers. They come to Hampden on Wednesday night for this Cup semi-final. Would you give them a fair chance?
Give them a slight chance. They could still turn their season around. They're in the semi-final against Rangers. They're still in the Scottish Cup next weekend. And I'm sure with the players that they've got, they'll be able to pull away from the bottom eventually, and they still could turn their season around.